My name is Daniel Ooko, and I've just been interviewed by Keith Andrew on the Keith Andrew Network. And I think he's doing a terrific job, and I hope he keeps up the good work.
Einar Haraldsson. I've just been interviewed by Keith Andrews, and he is perfect. It was fantastic to be on his show. Thank you very much, Keith.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keith Andrew, and you're watching the Keith Andrew Network. For people who want to know what is the Keith Andrew Network, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. So never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. It's prove to them you can step out to something. So hashtag break the labels. It's a special episode as we are on the road to July 4th. So this is our special Keith Andrew Network July 4th episode. Make sure to like and subscribe to the Keith Andrew Network, available on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Now, anyone can start off with the first segment. Everyone knows what the first segment is. Tell our audience a little bit about yourselves, how you became an actor, and what you do. And Daniel, I'm gonna start off with you.
So, hi, my name is Daniel Ooko. I'm an aspiring theatre, film, and voice actor from London. And a little bit about myself. Well, I come from Kilburn, so it's like a little suburb, like around central London. And about how I became an actor, well, it all started back in primary school, or what you may call elementary school. So I was around about, I'll say 8, and it was around 2010. So it was the Christmas play, and auditions were happening. And I saw like a little notification on like the wall about the audition. So I was just like, you know what, I might as well do it. So I went upstairs, and there was all these people, all these little kids in the room, and we're all just passing around lines and saying them. And everyone did their part. And then it came to me. So then I said my part. And then when everyone left, the teachers called to me specifically. They put me aside and told me that I'd play a very special role. They told me that I'd play Father Christmas, because back then I had quite a deep, booming voice. So it was kind of like something that I actually enjoyed to do. I enjoyed performing, the opportunities that I had, and I think during high school as well. Like, even though I didn't really have that many chances to perform, it was still an aspiration of mine to pursue acting. So when I left high school back in 2018, I fully pursued acting. So now I went to college, or what you would call high school. That was when I was around 16, so that's 2018. So I was studying on a performing arts course, did that for 2 years. And then now I'm on my gap year, where I'm trying to gain some experience. You know, I'm just trying to have some experience on my belt, trying to learn some new skills, develop new skills and abilities, acting abilities, so that I go off to formal training for like about 3 years, where I can become a proper professional actor. So that's really just a bit about me.
Yeah, that's perfect. Now we got to hear from our other guest. That's you.
Is it me?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. My name is Einar Haraldsson, and I'm from Reykjavik, Iceland. I'm a former police officer here in Iceland for 20 years. And I started in the police force 1974. And 1981, I went to United States, to LAPD, to study police, how they work, because I was Secretary General for International Police Association. And there I met a few colleagues who were bodyguards for celebrities. So we went up to Beverly Hills and I met a few of them there. They said to me, when you retired, this is what you should take, go in the school academy and try your best in that. Because they saw something about me, something came from me, and I said, okay, I will do that. So 1993, I retired in the police force, and I did not do anything about this acting. So 2005, I said to myself, well, it's time now, because it was my interest. I've always been interested to be an actor. So I went to the Academy of Art here in Iceland and finished that. And then after I finished that, I haven't stopped. I'm very popular in Iceland. I have been in every TV series and movies, and I've been 2 movies in America. And planning, I have already in January, I'm going to Texas and Los Angeles to be in movies there. So that's how it started for me. And I did not regret.
No, absolutely. So we're going to make it easier. You're going to be box number 2, and our other guest will be box number 1. So when I ask the question, it would be easier to say, okay, let's go to box 1 and then box 2. Okay. So with that being said, but one thing you said really caught my interest is you are a police officer from Iceland.
Yeah.
Now, what is it like to be a cop in Iceland?
Yeah, it's a whole otherwise in other places. I think it's similar as in UK, because here in Iceland we don't carry a gun like in UK. We have our SWAT team and we have our special branch, and or else we are only have our only small stick in the pocket.
Well, that's really interesting. How come you don't carry a gun in it? Well, just go back to box 1 as well. How come you don't carry a gun? Compared to the States, in the States, they have guns and tasers, even though idiots go confused, go figure on that. But, is it like a safety protocol? Like, give me an example.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, give me an example of that. Like in Iceland, say you're dealing with a suspect who has a gun. What do you do?
Fortunately, we don't have so much crime where they're using guns. Absolutely nothing. Never. I've never been here in Iceland. When I was in the police force, we did not have any single murder for 20 years. So that's why we don't have, we learn how to shoot. We go on a shooting range, all that. That's what we do. But to carry a gun now, fortunately, we are not doing that.
Well, it's always.
I saw in the States how they take the gun. They shoot first and ask later. Here we ask and shoot.
Hey, if you're good with hand-to-hand combat, that's really good. You really don't need. I mean, yes, if you're dealing with multiple people, you need a gun. But if you're really, fast and hand-to-hand combat, and you can disarm the situation like that.
Yeah.
You don't need to actuate it.
Yeah, we learn in the police academy hand-to-hand judo. I've been going against people with knives, so it's easy part to go to take them down.
Now, you mentioned you started your acting career in 1993. That's really interesting because for me, 93 was a good year because, if you guys are wrestling fans, that was the year of WrestleMania 9. And that's when Mighty Morphin Power Rangers came on the year. It's funny, if certain events happen in years, you can always say, okay, I remember that year because of this and that. For 93, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and WWF. But, for me, what does 93 symbolize for you? And why did you wait so long to start your career in 2005?
But because I went in 93, I stopped, retired in the police force, and I moved to Denmark and went there as a security. So I did not think about and I was also bodyguard, and then I was a bodyguard for celebrities, and they always come do acting. So that's all. Okay, I have to stop this. I gave this year. Then I started.
No, absolutely. Now we'll go back to box number one. What about you? What can you tell us about what does 1993 symbolize for you? And how did you start acting? And then we can go back to box two about acting later on.
Yeah, so 1993, you brought up WrestleMania 9, and when it comes to WWF, I remember I was a huge fan of WWE, and especially around 2013, 2014, that's when I started to learn about the Attitude Era and the Golden Era. Back in the day with Bret Hart, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage. And I remember WrestleMania 9. That was the one in Las Vegas, the one where it was outside as well. So yeah, 1993. I think that if I saw that event, if you gave me a picture of that event, that's basically what 1993 means to me, even though I never existed back then. So yeah. And how did I get my acting career started? Well, I'd say my professional career, it began this year, really. So because of the pandemic, I can't really go out to youth theaters to, gain some experience. So I had to do a lot of my stuff online. And in the UK, there's a website called mandy.com. And it was there where an agent was looking for talent, and she came across my page, she came across my profile and saw a monologue that I did, and she really liked it, and she wanted to represent me. So it was just a wonderful opportunity, and I accepted. And the credit that I have this year is I was heavily featured in a music video by an English band called Hon, an English electronic duo. So that I did about last month. I did it about last month or the month before. And the video is up. It has nearly 3 million views, maybe even over 3 million views. So I'd like to consider that as my official start into professional acting. So yeah.
Well, you bring up an interesting question, and now this is for both of you. How would you say the pandemic has affected you? And this is going to be a two-part question, but the first one is, how do you think the pandemic has affected you? When we go was box number one.
Well, the pandemic, so it's affected my momentum, in terms of my career. So back in 2019 and the start of 2020, I'd say that was probably about one of the most productive years I ever had. And I was thinking, 2020 is definitely going to be the year where I hit the ground running and I start to even develop even more. This is the year that I leave college. And when I leave college, I want to start working just to get money on the side and also going to different youth theaters, getting more experience there. But then, of course, Corona. So, when that hit, I wasn't really doing anything. And I was meant to do an end of year performance for my college, but that didn't happen. So, I was basically just at home with my PS4, just chilling, not really doing much. And of course, that can take a toll on you, mentally as well. So, I had to deal with that for a while. And basically now I'm just trying to stay busy, trying to stay active, trying to stay productive, and working, performing, doing what I do. It really does help. Yeah, it does helps me cope. So I would say that's how the pandemic has affected me.
No, personally, you have to keep busy. Yeah, you can play video games, but look on the bright side. You have people always say, "Oh, I wish I can stay home and do absolutely nothing." Here you go.
Yeah, when you have
got it, and now
when you have it, it's just terrible when you have it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now it's the complete opposite. I hate it. I want to go back to normal. It's like people are never happy. So we're going to hear from box number 2. How have you been during the whole pandemic?
Well, 2019, it totally stopped after the pandemic started. But after a few months, we start again working. Because here in Iceland, we didn't have so much COVID here, and now it's totally clear. We are totally clear, so it hasn't had any effect. Of course, everything was closed, and I went out. I did not stay home. No, if I will be staying home, it would be driving crazy. But everybody, like here, everybody was going, but be aware of the 2 meters and wear a mask, and so it has been 2020 has been a great year for me. Great year.
Absolutely. For the most part, you have people like say, yeah, you get vaccinated, now you can go out, interact, but we're waiting for the shit to hit the fan. Let's wait for the flu season to fire up, because you don't know if you have the flu, if you have corona. Now with the stupid Delta thing going around, doesn't matter if you're vaccinated, you can still get it. You won't die from it, supposedly, but it will still make you sick. But even they said on the news, this is not the time to celebrate. This is the time to, yes, you can go out, be smart. And that's the biggest thing, is just be smart about it. But people they don't care. But you did mention one thing, and I'm looking at the background you have behind you, is what is the difference between Iceland and Greece and Greenland? And is it really true you have 6 months a day and 4 months a night?
For example, now, today, it's 24 hours bright. Sun is shining 24 hours. I can go after midnight and have a sunbathing. It's very nice. But the bright started in 1st of July, June, 1st of June, and it's until maybe start of 1st of September. It's all bright. But in the wintertime, we have only maybe 2-3 hours bright and always dark.
That's like it.
That is the time. Yeah, that is the time. For example, January, February, here is a time where people are depressed and they make a suicide. They just kill themselves. I remember I was in the police force 1 week in my job. I went to 8 suicides in January. So it's a time when people get depressed.
I mean, there's things you can do, Hey, if I had to live in a place where it's like 2 months of light, I paint my windows black, number one. I do anything to keep the light out. But you can have fun in the dark too. You'll get fireworks. You can have Christmas lights. That's why the holidays, and this is the next one I'll ask both of you. When you have Christmas lights and the holidays, you can feel the energy in the air, and you can have it all year round. Yeah. But what is it like over in Iceland, Christmas? And then I will pass it over to box number 1.
Like what Christmas is like over here?
Yes, but let's have box number 2 answer first.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. Here in Iceland, we put up Christmas lights 1st of December, and we have them until February, March, in the darkest hour. So it helps. Even in the street Christmas lights, they don't take it down. Just to see that people are, there's a light, always light here.
No,
That's good. Yeah.
after a while, having complete darkness really gets to you. It's like that song, Simon and Garfunkel, "Hello, Darkness, My Old Friend."
Yeah, literally.
What about you?
Well, like when it comes to like Christmas, you know, I'm not a kid anymore, you know. I'm a teenager now. So like the Christmas vibe, it's kind of inert on me, you know, like all I'm really looking forward to is just the dinner and, you know, yeah, the presents as well, because now the presents are a lot more practical and, you know, I can actually use them. So that's really, and also, you know, people coming together and all of that stuff. And granted, I would be lying if I said I felt nothing. If I, you know, whenever I walk down the street and I see Christmas lights on, you know what I mean? Like when I see those lights up and I'm just like, yeah, that's actually pretty good. It's nice to see people, you know, still having fun, you know, getting into that festive energy and all that. So it's a decent time of year over here in the UK when it comes to Christmas. Yeah.
No, absolutely. So we're gonna do something very special. You know, we're gonna start off with a new segment where you guys get to ask each other a question. So box number one, do you have a question for me or for our guests?
I'd say I have a question for you. So I saw something like I saw another one of your interviews. I saw the description, and it said that you're the admin of Richard Epicur.
Oh yeah, I'm friends with Richard.
Yeah, so it's like, how did that happen? How did you meet Richard? Because I know Richard, like he's a voice actor, you know, he's a very prolific voice actor. So how did you meet up with him?
When I first started my talk show, I mostly met people through LinkedIn. And I didn't really think about it. I don't do background checks on my guests. Maybe I should, but I'm like, if you're in a professional actor, if you do this and that, I really don't care what the hell you do in your free time. I just want to say professional actor, have to have him on the show. And that was going at least 2013, 2014. We're still working on part two. But he's really a nice guy. You know, we talked about Marvel versus, wrong company. We're talking about DC versus Mortal Kombat. We were talking about, you know, he did the voice of Raven and he's the new Joker. Personally, I prefer Mark Hamill as the Joker, but he's pretty good for close second. But personally, you know, Mark Hamill, then it goes Keith Ledger. And then I go, okay, so being number 3 isn't so bad. But what about you, Box? Do you have a question for me or for a guest?
Yeah, I have maybe for the box number 1.
Cool.
Yeah, because you did you finish the acting in school and or how it is work in the UK to go to if you want to be in go in a movie or TV series? Can you just go knock on the door and say, hey, here's me. Here's me. Come on.
Nah, it doesn't work like that. Unfortunately, nah. So in my case, because I live in London, like, and I want to be an actor. That's kind of really ideal because London is one of, you know, the capital places for acting. You know, aside from New York and Los Angeles and LA. So you know, there's a lot of opportunities, especially because I'm young as well. So there's a lot of youth projects that I can get into, and all of that and all of that stuff. And when it comes to like getting like roles on like TV shows and all of that stuff, I can't walk up to a casting director and be like, hey, yo, can you sign me up? Because they don't know who I am. So I have to like try and get an agent. But the only way that I can get an agent is if I have work to show for it, for the most part. So I'd say how I found my agent was pure luck. I was not looking for an agent at the time. So it was merely just luck. It was just me being there at the right place at the right time.
Right time.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really just down to luck. A lot of luck, being in the right place at the right time, and knowing a lot of people.
Same as for me. I have a PR in US, and it's only a luck. I found him, and he is good, and he has worked for me, do a great job. Then I have also, and I don't have any PR in UK, but even though I have already got message from some directors there, they are going to making 2 movies there, and they have asked me if I want to join. So that's why I did not know him. I just got an email from him.
Nice. Yeah. Also, I'd say a question I want to ask you. Box number 2. So like you said that you've featured in a couple of movies in the US.
Yeah.
So what movies were they, and what kind of roles were you in?
This is 2 westerns movie. I know the directors there. He is a good friend of mine. He asked me if I want to join as a cowboy. So yeah, it was the first time. It was good to be there. And now I'm going to Texas, where I will have the leading role in the movie. Nice. So yeah, and my PR is we are going to LA, where we are going to talk to CBS. So,
okay.
Yeah. So it's luck. It's luck. I'm like a lucky punk.
No, absolutely. Now I have a couple questions for you guys off the air. We're wrapping up our interview segment. Our fans can get to follow you guys. Like, you guys just became friends now. Your Instagrams will be on the bottom of the screen. Our fans can follow us on Instagram. On our bottom of the screen, our hashtags will be there, Instagram names. Or more importantly, I can't speak. More importantly, make sure to like and subscribe to the Keith Andrew Network, available on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And as I always say, until we meet again, I will catch you later. We're wrapping up our interview segment. It was a real honor and privilege having you guys on the show. I just want to say thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road.